Read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans.
The president now says the GOP's grand shutdown strategy may be a loser. Now, for weeks, Republicans in the Senate and the president have been calling Democrats hostage takers and kamikaze pilots and on and on. The president seems to think it's blown up in their faces. But President Trump has a solution. And we talked about this 3 weeks ago. We told you it was going to come to this. The solution would be breaking the filibuster in the Senate. That's the so-called nuclear option.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe.
Okay. And the pressures in terms of the government shutdown ratcheting up. The FAA announced starting Friday they'll reduce flights across the country by 10%, just in time for the weekend ahead of Thanksgiving, the busiest week of the year for travel. So for those keeping score, the pressure campaign against Schumer and Democrats has not worked. Appears as though there's a new pressure campaign aimed at the president's own party by the president. With us now, Republican Senator Roger Marshall from Kansas. Good to see you, sir. Now, all of a sudden, President Trump seems to think that it's Republicans' fault and that you all should use the nuclear option, and that the government shutdown is why Republicans lost the election yesterday. The president throwing you under the bus?
I don't feel like that, Leland. I think the president is very intent on getting his agenda across the finish line. And there's no doubt that ending the filibuster would help him do just that.
So you're in favor of it?
And every day the Democrats keep the government shut down, I'm more inclined to go along with him.
Okay. I just want to parse that out in a couple of different ways. You don't worry at all that by the president blaming Republicans, that now pits you all against each other and Democrats are going to be able to exploit that?
So I don't feel like the president is blaming Republicans in any way, shape, or form. What I heard him say, and I was there this morning, is that he thinks that perhaps this government shutdown, the legacy media was able to pin this on Republicans. And I don't happen to agree with that. I think the die was cast in these very deep blue states that they were going to be what they're going to be. But he's using that as leverage to end the filibuster. I think that's his goal here. He's always negotiating for something.
You're saying every day.
Filibuster.
You're saying every day you're getting closer to that. Right. I'm not great at math, but if every time you just get a little bit closer, you never actually get there. My reporting showed that last week there was about 15 Republican votes against ending the filibuster. You got a nose count right now of where that stands?
No, I think that's still very accurate. I don't think anyone has moved. If I had to vote today, I would vote no. I would vote to keep the filibuster in place. But okay. I'm reserving the nuclear option. We do need to open the government. There needs to be a day and time when the Democrats quit holding these Obamacare, Biden extra funds hostage and set America free. And now they're sitting there thinking this is what they're saying today. The Democrats are very clearly. They feel the longer they keep the government shut down, the better they're going to do next November. So like we've always said, this is a political shutdown, and that's why it's so hard to solve. They're using this as leverage.
Okay. So from Axios, Trump readying living hell for GOP senators over nuking filibuster. He will call them at 3 o'clock in the morning. He will blow them up in their districts. He will call them un-American. He'll call them old creatures of a dying institution. Believe you me, he's going to make their lives just hell. Number one, are you ready for that? And number two, why would the president do that to his own senators?
Leland, that makes no sense to me. I'm not going to believe that reporting. President Trump and the Senate caucus can never be closer. Look, he's negotiating. That's all he's doing here. He's negotiating. He's made a really good point.
But hold on. But what are you negotiating? Because I keep hearing from Republicans that you won't negotiate with a gun to your head.
Okay, he's negotiating that he wants to end the filibuster. It's that simple. He's absolutely right. He can get his agenda through, but the fear is what goes around comes around. And then the Democrats could do the same thing to us in so many ways. They would pack the Supreme Court. Puerto Rico would be the state, the whole litany of things.
How much longer, though, are the American people going to suffer? And we've talked about this for the past couple of weeks on the show, right? We've already have food stamps running out, if not now, certainly by Thanksgiving. You're going to have 10% fewer flights. By Thanksgiving, there is going to be news anchors doing a show in the morning from an airport and in the afternoon from a food pantry. And it's Republicans who control the House, the Senate, and the White House. It was President Trump who, he just said it, we don't have to play the soundbite again, but he said, if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for Republicans. How long can you afford this PR crisis?
No, Leland, you're a better journalist than this. You know it takes 60 votes in the Senate to fund the government, okay? So despite us controlling the House and the White House and the Senate, it takes 60 votes to do that.
You're right. I'm a better journalist, and I guess implying that I was saying that you don't need 7 Democratic votes. You do. I'm also a good enough journalist to know how things are playing politically, and don't ask me, ask the President of the United States. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for Republicans. So do you also disagree with the president that the shutdown's bad for Republicans?
It's not good for anybody, that's for sure. It's kind of like who's the worst of the bunch. But I really think you're conflating a lot of different things here, Leland. To me, I think we need to go back to why this is important. That Republicans want to work towards a balanced budget. Yes, we want to get the government open, but we're not going to do it at the expense of compromising more of a budget. We're not going to give the Democrats another $1.5 trillion. So we're not going to let them kidnap us like this. It's not good to negotiate with kidnappers. We're not going to. Once they open the government, then we'll work on these other issues.
Okay, so as I understand things are right now, not yet to the point of using the filibuster, breaking the filibuster with the nuclear option, and also, as you see it, there should be no negotiations with Democrats to reopen the government.
That's right. Then the negotiations are happening as far as how to work through appropriations. All those things are happening. But it's non-negotiable. That's negotiating with someone who's kidnapped us right now. Again, the Democrats are the ones that are voting against them. They're the ones that should be held accountable. Now, I can't help make up what the legacy media is doing right now and blaming the Republicans for it. But listen, I think everyone should take a breath here. I mean, last night was totally expected. It's not a sentinel moment at all. A year from now, the voters are going to. Let me finish this. A year from now, the voters are going to be focused on the economy. They won't even remember that we had a shutdown.
Okay. Well, you may be right about that. If the economy is doing well, as we said at the top of the show, it will forgive all ills. It's sort of the way Americans are. What have you done for me lately? Is the way voters think. Senator, I knew you as Congressman, now Senator Roger Marshall. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Did Zoran Mondani pull off the greatest bait and switch in modern U.S. history? We'll show you the Democrats angry at the party's newest star. A year in, and President Trump loves talking about the $90 billion in tariff money he brought in. What if he has to give it all back?